It sounds like if you sanctified a cow and you forgot and you shechted
It's
and ate it,
b'shegeg,
so
right?
I didn't know.
Yeah. So then you bring a korban asham milas.
Would it apply to land too? Because I'm surprised we never mentioned it once.
Right.
With all the hectares we
Yeah,
did.
let's say you
Right.
burn
Last
hectares
time.
and then you drive.
and in the years, if they made a mistake and
It's the
accidentally
motorcycle.
took
Right.
fruit,
Right.
I mean, it would be
Right.
so easy
So
to make
it
Also,
could be that in all of those cases, it doesn't. We were saying that he never gave it over to Hektish yet, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he was having benefit from it, because the exchange of land, exchange of ownership of land, goes with a document. It goes with a chazaka or something. It just means that Hektish never actually took ownership of it, and it's still his own. How do you exchange land, right? There's some sort of chazaka or with a document.
What happens if?
So yes.
What happens if he designates a trough for the Beis Hamikdash and he's bringing fruit there? And while he's bringing fruit there, he gets some fruit for himself. Would that just be that's like so?
So if it would be
like just because since he's already going there, why not just get some
So if it's doesn't, I don't remember what the share of meal is. I don't know how much it was, but I don't know how much benefit.
More.
Yeah, I'm not sure how.
Show.
Yeah, is that what it is? The Shavapruta. So now it says ve'ein meviim nesachim. You also don't bring nesachim for the guy for the non-Jews korban. Nesachim is the wine and the oil and the flour that comes along with every sacrifice. Aval karbonei tar nesachim. So he doesn't bring it. And what it means over here, in maybe in Aleim possibly, it's still brought, but he doesn't bring it. What happens is if the sacrifice was brought and the sachem were not brought together with it, you can bring it later. But for a non-Jews korban, it's not brought later. No, so the sachem could be brought independently later on.
You don't want to take a chance of Yayin Nesach with the non-Jew there.
There's two interpretations here.
I did double coffee at 5 a.m.
Okay. Divrei Reb Shimon. This is the words of Reb Shimon. And Amar Reb Yaisi says, Bekulan ani roya lahachmer. All of them I see to be strict, which means that there is a violation of Me'ilah. If someone has benefit from non-Jews korban, he is chayev on pigul and nicer and tamei. So Reb Yehuda here, Reb Yaisi here is being machmer on all of the things that Reb Shimon was lenient on. When do we say this? We're going back to the Tanakama. When do they say that there's no me'ilah? That's only bekachim mizbeach. That's only if it's designated as a sacrifice. Aval bekachi bedek abayas ma'ilim behem. But if he designates it to the temple, then it becomes the temple ownership, and it's owned by the temple, and there is milah.
So there's meal and kosher.
By Kachi Bedek Avayis, there is milah. Did we ask that before? So by Kachi Bedek Avayis, there is milah, and by a guy's Kachi Bedek Avayis, there's also milah. It's only the machlekes is only by Kachi Mizbeach. So Katani Mia. Nevertheless, it was taught in the middle of this that Einais in Temurah. That there's no Temurah. We have an answer. We have an answer from the Brisa. We had a kasha. We had a question.
Also, Rabbi Yossi says not Temurah.
You tell me what it says over there in the notes. Does Rabbi Yossi agree to that? Because Rabbi Yossi says, "Bekulan ani roya lahachmer."
Just talks about the meal.
I see over here in the Shita Mekubetzes that he asks that according to Rabbi Yossi, it is a Temurah. So why are we bringing a raya from Reb Shimon? We could bring a raya the opposite from Rabbi Yossi. Okay. The Gemara explains, "V'rami bar Chama behektish eved kechavim leskaper eved kechavim lekum yibayoli." That we know, that there's no Temurah, at least according to Reb Shimon, if the guy is designated the korban because the guy did an aveira. I don't know what his aveira is, but he wanted some sort of atonement. So Kikami Baile, where was Rami Bar Chama's question? Yisrael. The guy is a friend of the Jew. He designates a karban because his friend, the Jew, did a avera. He says, "I'll send the sacrifice for you." So he designates the animal for the Jew's sacrifice. So Basar Makdish says Linon. We know that a guy, his animal, he can't do Temurah on his animal. Do we say, well, he designated this animal, so there's no Temurah off it? Maybe because the Kedusha isn't strong enough. You can't exchange it one to another. It's not strong enough in its own.
Rashi says, a guy has no punishment, so he can't have a kapara.
No, tell me that again. What?
We said that earlier.
Lo kami baile, le'enik desha eset Temurah, hoil v'lo asi l'chlal einshin. The guy has no punishment.
Oh.
So you
very
can't,
good.
he can't be
Okay,
a
good.
kapara,
No,
because he never gets punished.
No, so what that means is that was Rami Bar Chama's original question. His original question was, because Temurah is a package, there's Malchus, and it's also an exchange. So can a child that doesn't have the punishment, can he do Temurah even though he's able to designate? So is it a package that because there's no ancient, there's no Temurah? Do we say no, the Temurah is independent, that he can still designate? So we said, now let's say that a child is Asi L'chlal Einshin later on. So he still is part of the package, even though right now he's not, but ultimately he will be. So what about the non-Jew? That the non-Jew will never be part of that package because he never gets punished. So do we say Basar Makdish? Okay, now that comes in. Basar Makdish, do we say that the guy did the original sacrifice? So because he can't do Temurah, so now this sacrifice that's designated for a Jew, he can't do Temurah on this sacrifice. Or do we go after the one that's being atoned? And this sacrifice was designated for a Jew. Okay. Tifshet le mid Rabavo. Let's answer this from Rabavo. The Amar Rabavo, Amar Rabbi Yechanan. Rabavo was a student of Rabbi Yechanan.
So you can argue with him?
No.
He's a student?
Well, he can argue, but right here is not
Can
arguing.
you handle
Is
that?
Rabavo,
Going
does
there.
it say over there where he lived? In Caesarea.
Whatever happened if
To be
something,
in-
would they ever argue with you?
Sunday we
They're allowed it?
catch up and go ahead. We have an hour and a half.
Same generation.
Or in the same generation, but even a student can argue.
You can handle it, huh?
Who's the halacha like, a teacher or a student, if they argue?
You.
Usually you say a teacher, except there's a contradiction because in one place it says there's a machlekes an earlier generation, a later generation. We go after the later generation. So how does it work? It's a contradiction. Halacha kebasrai, or the halacha like teacher versus the student. So some say it depends until Abaye and Rava was always halacha teacher student. After Abaye and Rava, the halacha is like the later generation. That's what I think Rabbeinu Chananel writes. Amar Rabavo. Amar Rabbi Yechanan, Rabbi Vo says the name of Rabbi Yechanan, Hamakdish Meisiv Chaimesh, Umeskaper Eisa Temurah. Someone wants to redeem his own hektish. He consecrated something, and for whatever reason, there's a mum in it. He's going to redeem it. So he has to add 1/5 to the price when he's redeeming it. Someone else does not have to, but the owner himself that's redeeming it needs to add 1/5.
We learned that last week.
Right. And then
I'm not getting it. Who's adding what?
what happens is there's something that's consecrated, and then for whatever reason he needs to redeem it. Maybe there's a
Wants to redeem it
either
for something less.
he's going to redeem this.
Wants
So
to buy it back from Hector.
he wants to buy it back from Hektish. Maybe there's a karban and there's a mum, or maybe it's bedek habayis. If he himself is the one that's buying it back, so then he has to add an extra 1/5 to the price.
And they're both good.
No.
Who
No.
wants it?
No. That's by Temurah. Here we're not dealing with Temurah. Temurah would be
Oh, this is this.
he's just
Okay,
a
sorry.
regular redemption. And then the next case, umiskaper oisa Temurah, and the one that's being atoned can make the Temurah. This is a proof that the Temurah goes after the one that's being atoned. not the one that's designating the sacrifice. That's what we're going to prove from. Let's say someone takes truma. Truma is given to a kohen for the grain when there's crops that are grown, so you have to give 1 out of 50, 2 out of 100, 2% is given to the kohen. So if someone takes from his own produce over on his friend's produce, so taivas hana shalai, he has the right to give it to whichever kohen he wants. The taivas hana is his. In other words, the one that's giving the truma is the one that has the rights to give it to whoever he wants, and the person that's his grain is being exempted from truma. He can't say, no, I always give it to my brother-in-law. No, it's the one that's giving it that can say, no, I give it to my nephew or whatever. Amrlei. So this is a response from. This is a response from Rami Bar Chama's question, and who was answering it? Did we say Rava before? Amar Rava. Rava was bringing an answer. Rava brought the Tashema, and this is Amrlei. So Rami Bar Chama is now telling Rava that you don't have a good proof. Hasim huda ka'asim mikayach Yisrael. Over there, in your case, where you said basar miskaperas linan, that when it comes to Temurah, exchanging one animal for the other, we said that the one that the animal that the sacrifice is atoning for, he's the one that can make the Temurah. Getting mixed up between Shuma and Temurah. He's the one that can make the Temurah, the exchange. So who's designating that animal? Another Jew was designating the animal for this Jew. We said which one can make the Temurah? The one that's being atoned. Mishum hachi yaslin basar miskaper. So we go after the one that's being atoned. V'havalei tchilase v'seife b'yad Yisrael. The original designation and the atonement and the Temurah is all from a Jew. Aval hacha. But over here, hachi kami ba'ilei. This was the original question. Mi ba'inan mitchila v'ad saif. The taker b'shus manda v'Temurah. Do we need that the origin of this and the end of it is all in the hands of a Jew, because over there we were saying that a non-Jew was the one that was designating the animal. So for that question we say teku. The way that it's explained is that do we say that the end of this designation is in the hands of the Jew, and the Jew can do Temurah, so therefore Temurah should take effect, or do we say that we look at this entirely as one big package, that it's from the beginning till the end, and since originally it was not in the hands of a Jew, it was designated by a non-Jew, so maybe in this case that you can't do Temurah on this. Okay, let's leave it over here. Let's stop right now. A little extra time today.
What time's time is it? 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's 7:24.
This was today's
Yeah,
Daf.
but the next two.
For the first time, you don't want to go ahead and here for Daf?
Let's leave it.
No, the next stop is very long.
You sure?
Get to review it.
I know the next stop is really long.
Oh, come on.
It's your pastor. Respect to the rabbi.
So all these
Tanya.
cases of Temurah over there, even though it's not being discussed, but every single time
Eager to learn. Wow.
I know they're going to get Malchus.
Stay.
So we're saying he can do it.
Yeah, but there's going to be a big discussion why there's Malchus for Lav Shem B'Maisa. It's just a word. It's a big
But
discussion.
every single time when it says Oisef Temurah,
Temurah means he gets
all of
Malchus.
them, it's like we're saying he can do it, but
Right.
you're getting it.
Right.
Thank you, everyone. Shekhinah Day.
Shekayach. Dr. Stein. The